Hi everyone, I am Joaza, your reporter for today's lesson. My topic is all about Indigenous people in Sierra Madre. There are two Indigenous people in Sierra Madre, which are the Ilongots and the Remontados. So first, let's have the Ilongot or Ilongots. It is now more accurately known as Bukalot. These are an indigenous groups living in the mountainous regions of the Philippines, primarily in Nueva Vizcaya and Nueva Ecija, extending to the borders of Quirino and Aurora provinces. They are historically known for headhunting and living near rivers for resources. They practice Sweden agriculture, hunting, and fishing. The Bukalit community emphasizes traditional values and has a rich cultural heritage that includes specific clothing, ceremonies, and a unique political system based on a male consensus. And the next one is the Remontados. The Dumagat Remontado people are an indigenous group in the Sierra Madre in the mountains of Rizal and Quezon provinces. Derived from the Spanish word for to flee to the mountains or remontar. Their name reflects their ancestors who sought refuge in the mountains to escape Spanish colonization. They are known for a strong connection to the land. The Remontados are descendants of lowlanders who fled from the Spanish colonizers. Over time, they intermarried with Negrito groups in the mountains, leading to their identification as a Negrito ethno-linguistic group with mixed features. They often refer to themselves as a taga-bundok or people to the mountains or magkakaingin or practitioners of Sweden farming. The Dumagat Remontado have a deep-rooted connection to their ancestral forests and mountains, practicing sustainable methods of resource management for generations. The community is actively opposing large infrastructure projects, such as the Kaliwa Dam, which would displace them from their ancestral domains. Despite their knowledge of forest conservation, they are often overlooked in political decision-making processes. They continue to fight for their rights and cultural survival against government projects that threaten their lands and traditions.
So, hello everyone, how are you? I hope you're all doing well. Especially you, Mom Rizal Katarsag. I hope you're doing well, Mom. I am Jennifer Toyer from Group 1, and this is a continuation of our reports about the indigenous groups of people in Luzon. And my topic focuses on the Aita of Zambales and Pampanga. Now I will discuss first the Aita of Zambales. So the Aita of Zambales are an indigenous people with a rich cultural heritage, traditional practices, and a strong connection to their ancestral lands. Despite challenges, they have shown resilience and are working to preserve their rights and traditions. So, they can be found in various municipalities of Zambales, including the Butulan, Cabangan, San Felipe, and San Marcelino. The Aita Abelan, a subgroup of the Aita, have their own culture and traditions, as well as a traditional political structure led by a leader called Apo or Bapa. Okay, some Aita communities have also received support from projects that provide organic farming training and seed capital. So, traditionally, they engage hunting, gathering, and burn farming for their livelihood. So, their way of living is to hunt wild animals for food and burn farming. So what do you mean by slash and burn farming? So usually, indigenous people live in rural areas. And when we say rural areas, naani siya sa mga bukiran nga bahin, di ba? So kung maingon tag bukiran nga bahin, nadyo ni mga kakahoyan dito, no? So ilang bahaton dito ilatong mamuton ang mga kahoy and then ilatong sunugon for cultivation para matamnan to nila og lain nga mga tanom nga pwede nila mapuslan. So manay slash and burn farming. Okay? So some Aita leader like Chito Balintay Sr. have been actively involved in advocating for indigenous people's rights and have even run for public office, including the positions of governor of Zambales. Okay, so the Aita have shown remarkable resilience in the face of challenges such as the eruption of Mount Pinatubo, which displaced many Aita communities. However, there are organizations like Pure Bayanihan and State and Grid Corporation of China have provided support to the Aita communities by offering electricity and livelihood projects. So, mana siya sa Aita of Zambales, rather. So next we have the Aita of Pampanga. So the Aita of Pampanga are an indigenous people with a rich cultural heritage, facing challenges such as encroachment on their ancestral lands. Efforts are being made to support their communities through livelihood projects, agroforestry programs, and advocacy for indigenous people's rights. So what do you mean by encroachment? Encroachment is the idea of entering someone's property without permission, or what do you call this, trespassing. So that is encroachment. Okay, so the Aita are an indigenous group living in Pampanga, Philippines, and have their own unique culture and traditions. So they inhabit different areas in Pampanga, such as the Florida Blanca. And their way of living is similar to the Aita of Zambales. They hunt wild animals for food and farm using the slash and burn methods. So parihara sila panginabuhian sa mga Aita nga naa sa Zambales. Pero lahi-lahi sila mga problema, no? So they face challenges regarding their ancestral lands because some people are taking over these lands without permission, which is a significant problem for them. So manay ilahang significant problem. No, manid akong problema sa mga Aita nga naa nagpuyo sa Pampanga. No? Na mga tao nga musulod sa ilahang ancestral lands without permission. Organizations and the government are providing support to the Aita in Pampanga through livelihood projects such as farming and crafts, food assistance, protection of the ancestral lands, and agroforestry programs like planting bamboo. So their leaders advocate for the rights and participate in public office to protect their community. So the same as the Aita in Zambales. No, mapag-advocate sa ilahang leader dito, no? Ang ilang rights, indigenous people's rights. Okay, so I hope na may nasabtan sa akong report. And I hope that would be all. Thank you for listening, guys. Goodbye and thank you, everyone. God bless.
Good evening, guys. So this is Rachel Midi Halina from Bael to Black 2, your reporter for this evening. So this time, I will be discussing about my short topic, which is the Tagbanwa people live of the Palawan. So first, what did you see in the screen? It's that Tagbanwa script. Yes, it's the Tagbano script. We will tackle that later. But first, let us differentiate what is these two different Tagbanoa spelling, which is the Tagbanoa and the Tagbanua word. But it is also read as Tagbanoa, which means people of the village, while Tagbanua, Taga is from, and Banua is village, land, place, or world. And also some interpreters interpret it as the inhabitants of the earth. Now question, who are the Tagbanoa people? So the Tagbanoa people are one of the oldest ethnic group here in the Philippines. They are live in central and northern Palawan. They are considered descendants of the ancient settlers of the archipelago with roots tracing back to the Tabon Caves in Quezon, Palawan, where some of the oldest human remains in the country were found, which is they called the Tabon people or the Tabon man. Muna ilahang tawag sa katong mga Tagbanoa people nga namuyo pa ng Tabon Cave sa Palawan. So, they are also considered as the original inhabitants here in the Philippines. So, they are defined as brown skin, slim, straight or curly hair, and brown skin. And they are known for their rich cultural tradition, spiritual beliefs, and unique script. So, what do you call that unique script? It's the Tagbanoa script. Yes, it's called the Tagbanoa script. One of the few writing systems in the Philippines that survive into this modern times right now. So, questions, what is the Tagbanoa script? So, the Tagbanoa script is an ancient Southeast Asia Alpasa library, or they called it Abugeda, which uses characters where each consonant inherently involves the vowel A with diacritics marks added to change the vowel into I or U. So another question, how and where did they use it? So traditionally, they use it to make songs, poetry, and rituals in their ceremonies to honor their gods. And it is also used in carving. They carve it into the bamboo using knives in a form of vertical lines. So they write it from the bottom to the top, and it is also write in horizontal lines or horizontal form from left to right. So this script is deeply connected to the cultural and spiritual practices of the Tabon people. They believe to possess mystical properties, and they use it in rituals and ceremonies. So lastly would be their lifestyle, which are farming, cultivation of rice, hunting, and fishing. They are also bartering or trading to their neighborhoods to sustain their every needs. So next topic would be the Batak people who live in the northern Palawan. The Batak people are one of the about 70 indigenous peoples of the Philippines. They are located in the northeastern portion of the Palawans and a relatively large island in the southwest of the archipelago. There are only about 500 Batak remaining, and they are called Tinitianes. The Batak are considered by anthropologists to be closely related to the Aita of Central Luzon, which is another negrito of the tribe. It because 1,000 years ago they are migrated to the mainland of the Southeast Asia. Next, what is Batak means? So Batak means mountain people in Koyonon. it is a language of lowland in Palawan. It is also reflect how neighboring groups viewed them as an upland dwellers living away from coastal communities. Now question, who are the Batak? The Batak are one of the smallest and most endangered indigenous group in the Philippines. They live in mountains and forested areas of northeastern Palawan, particularly around Puerto Princesa and its northern highlands. Traditionally, they are hunters, gatherers, and Sweden farmers living close to the forests and rivers, and their traditions and cultural practices are also the same with the Tagbanwa people, but their arts and crafts are includes basketry, mat weaving, wood carving, music, dance, and storytelling, all closely tied to their natural environment. So they also face challenges such as deforestation, cultural loss, and land rights issues, and limited access to health care and education.
Oh, hello, good evening everyone, and today I will be talking about the Balangao ethnic group. So, the Balangao, also known as Buluns, were among the earliest settlers of the Eastern Mountain Province in the Central Cordillera. So, their communities are concentrated in the towns of Barleg, Natonen, and Bariceles as one of the distinct ethno-linguistic groups of the Cordillera. They have preserved much of their heritage despite outside influences, maintaining a strong sense of identity rooted in their ancestral land. So traditionally, the Balangao are agriculturists, with rice cultivation in terrace fields forming the backbone of their livelihood and way of life. So ang panginabuhian sa mga Balangao kay maura ang pag-uma, which is ang pagtanom og humay. So agriculture is not only their primary source of food, but also central to their rituals and cultural practices, often tied to the agricultural calendar. Parihan natong mga Pinoy, parihan nato. Di ba kung magtanom tagumay, depende na sa panahon. Ana agad na panahon kung kanus ata magtanom og humay o kanus ata mag-harvest. Mag-harvest sa atong kanang kahumayan. So they are also known for their kinship-based social organization, respect for elders, and oral traditions that pass down history, values, and beliefs through generations. So these cultural practices emphasizes community cooperation and solidarity, which remain ritual elements of the Balangao society today. So agtana di ay mga Balangao kay dili ni sila magkahiusa kung wala sila nagtinabangay. Dili parihan nato bitaw karon kanang parihan namo. For example, kami. Magsalig, for example, ako na lang. For example, ako, dili na ko mubakod kay manawag naman to, magtawag man akong mga ginikanan o patamnan sa humay, kana bitaw ang gitawag nila og suhol, patanom sa humay unya, nagkadagko sa humay kay ang nitanom sa humay mao na ko'y mag-ani. Dili pariha sa mga Balangao people or kanang mga kaning Balangao nga gitawag nila indigenous people, wala sila'y suhol-suhol. But instead, magtinabangay sila kay para tabangan pud sila kana bitaw ang bayad bitaw kay tabang gihapon. Dili pariha nako nga magsalig kay naay nitanom. Magsalig kay naay binayaran nga nitanom. So dili na lang pud kumutabang. Mauna nga nagsalig ra makana bitaw naay mutabang kay nay suhol. Dili pareha sa Balangao nga nitabang kay tabangan pud ka. Kana bitaw sang paghimo og balay, di ba dili man kakahimo og balay kung di walay mutabang, mauna sa Balangao. Pero sa amoa, sa amoa, wala na sa amoa. Kay dili man ka katukod og balay kung dili sa kana bitang wala kay kwarta. Dili ka katukod og balay kung wala kay kwarta, wala kay kasuhol. Mao na sa panahon karon og lahi ra kayo sa Balangaw people. And that's all. Thank you. Kadiyot lang di ay, kung naaday mo yung mga pangutana, if you have a questions there, so feel free to comment down below. So, goodbye. Good night, everyone. Thank you kaayo. Thank you so much.
The Ivatan people, a rich cultural heritage. The Ivatan people are the indigenous inhabitants of Batanes, a group of islands located in the northernmost part of the Philippines. They have a unique culture shaped by their history, geography, and traditions. The Ivatan people are known for their resilience in the face of harsh weather conditions with strong stone houses that have withstood typhoons and other natural disasters. The Ivatan's cultural significance. The Ivatan culture is significant because it reflects the community's history, values, and traditions. Their language, customs, and practices are distinct from other Filipino cultures and are worth preserving for future generations. The Ivatan people's cultural heritage includes their traditional clothing, music, dance, and art, which are all important aspects of their identity. The Ivatan's way of life. The Ivatan people are skilled farmers, fishermen, and craftsmen. They have developed unique farming practices that are adapted to the island's harsh weather conditions. They also have a strong tradition of craftsmanship, with intricate stone carvings, woodwork, and weaving. The Ivatan people's way of life is closely tied to the land and the sea, and they have developed a deep respect for the natural environment. Ivatan's challenges and preservation efforts. Despite their rich cultural heritage, the Ivatan people face challenges such as cultural erosion, climate change, and modernization. Many young Ivatan people are leaving the islands to pursue education career opportunities, leading to a decline in the transmission of traditional knowledge and practices. Efforts are being made to preserve the Ivatan culture, language, and traditions, including cultural festivals, language programs, and documentation of traditional practices. Ivatan's importance of preservations. Preserving the Ivatan culture is important because it is a vital part of the community's identity and heritage. It is also an important part of the Philippines' cultural diversity and can provide valuable lessons for other communities facing similar challenges. By preserving the Ivatan culture, we can learn about the community's history, values, and traditions, and appreciate the richness of Filipino cultural heritage.